Okay, now we're going to analyze an ellipse, or basically we're going to find the center, the vertices, and the foci of the ellipse. That's what we're going to talk about when we talk about analyzing ellipse. We're going to find all the little points. So how do we do that? Well, first off, let's start with a problem to use as an example. And let's start with this one. 4x squared plus y squared minus 8x plus 4y minus 8 equals 0. And once again, the first thing I probably want to do is write it in standard form and help. I need to do that by getting all the x's together, all the y's together, and then I'm going to rewrite it with some spaces. And notice I need the x squared by itself and the y squared by itself. Is the y squared already by itself? Yes. Is the x squared by itself? No. Well, it's being multiplied by x squared, 4. So I'm going to take these two values right here and factor a 4 out. Not divide, but factor a 4 out. And then I'm going to make it that's in parentheses because I've got to take 4 times each of these. I'm making a little space there, so I'm going to put a number in there. I'm also making a space here. I'm going to put a number in there. And notice my minus 8, when I move it to the other side, became a positive 8. Now then, to complete the square, I've got to look at the number in front of that and just divide it by 2, which makes -1, which I have to square because it's called completing the square. That's 1. So when I add 1 here, I'm really not adding 1. I'm adding 4 times 1. That's why it's a plus 4 on this side. Even though it's 1 here, I really added 4. 4 times 1. So I added 4 to each side by putting a plus 1 there. Now I'm going to come here and divide that number by 2, which is 2. And I square it, which is 4. So I know it's going to be a 4. And I'm going to add another 4 there. Alright, so here's what I know. I can now complete the square because that there will factor to the x minus 1. This one will factor to the y plus 2. And 8 plus 4 plus 4 is 16. Now remember, to have an ellipse, I need that to equal 1. So I'm going to take this, and that's because the number is 16. I'm going to divide everything by 16. I'm going to write it like that. Now what's nice, 4 will go into 16 how many times? 4. So I know this here. I know the center is at -1. I'm sorry, inside liar. The center will actually be at +1, -2, with the minor axis being horizontal at 2 and the major axis being vertical at 4. That's really important. So here's I've got my formula. So I know the center is at 1, -2. Or like I said, the major axis is 4, it's vertical, and the minor axis is 2, it's horizontal. Well, that's real important. Now, we have to keep this information with us as we move on to this next part here. That's why I kind of slid it over here, because I need a little room over here. We know this. If the major axis is vertical and the center is at H, K, can't I add that 4 to K? Well, actually, I can find C. First off, let's find C. Remember this? C is equal to, in a sense, your A squared minus your B squared. Because remember, A squared was equal to B squared plus C squared, so therefore A squared minus B squared would be the C squared, so square root it. I can plug those in. So I know 4 squared is 16 minus 4. And the square root of 12 will reduce. That's 2 square roots of 3, which we always need to do. Now, I've got an A, I've got a B, and a C. Because the vertices, which are on the ellipse, to find the major axis one, I'm just going to do this here. It will be H, and I will take the K value plus A and minus A. And so therefore I'll take the -2, which is the A value. H is 1. I'm going to add 4 one time and subtract 4 one time. So if I do that, if I subtract 4 from -2, I get -6. And if I add 4 to -2, I get 2. So I know the major vertices are there, right? I know then that the minor vertices are going to be B, 2. So I'm going to take, and this time I'm moving it to the H value. I shouldn't write the formula up here. It should be H plus or minus B, comma K. Because there's my H plus or minus the B, comma, and my K of -2. Well, 1 plus 2, actually is 3, -2, and 1 minus 2 is -1, -2. So there are my vertices. The major ones, the minor ones. The only thing I lack now are my foci. Well, the foci is C, and so I'm going to take that from the center and move it along the major axis, add C and minus C. So first off, I know H is 1, K is -2, and basically I can't really add because it's 2 square roots of 3. I can't really add or subtract with -2. So you could write it like that, or you could separate them out like that because there are 2 actual foci. Vertices, major vertices, minor vertices, and your foci right there. We just found, hey, we found the center, we found the foci right here, and the vertices. Pretty cool. All from completing the square and just adding or subtracting a couple things once we found A, B, and C.